Good morning. Today's topic is something I could probably speak literally hours on. There have been many books written about it. It's a primary focus of a lot of marriage counseling, mental health therapy, concerning anxiety and stress and so forth. But I'm going to try to keep this brief. My goal, again, is to keep these video podcasts around 5 to 10 minutes, not over 12. So here goes. Talk about arguments. How do you keep an argument or a difference of opinion from becoming contentious and devolving into a shouting match or just basically shutting down communications? Well, recently, if you're like me, you follow different blogs or video logs, either one. And on a particularly interesting blog that I follow, it's very well written. The subject was concerning the unpardonable or the unforgivable sin and whether abortion fit into that category. Now, I don't want to delve into that. You can on your own. But there was certainly an issue that engendered a lot of emotional responses. So one thing that is to keep in mind on discussions that involve theological issues, something that I learned and that was brought to my attention, is the difference between opinions as opposed to facts versus opinions. When we were going through, a group of us were going through leadership training in my denomination for a role of elder in the church, a prominent theologian in our denomination, very well versed, he said, "I don't care what you believe about a certain theological issue. What I care about is what the Bible has to say about it." And I thought that was very good, very profound, very pointed, something I remembered and have tried to employ since that time. It is so easy to get involved in opinions as opposed to facts. When we're talking to other people, it's very useful to keep the conversation going in an edifying way, to try to recognize or acknowledge where the other person is coming from, whether it be a theological issue, a personal issue, politics, or whatever. Empathy, in other words. Jesus exhibited a perfect sense of empathy. He is our model. In other words, try to understand where the other person is coming from, get into their head, so to speak. Ask questions about the why, the how of what their opinion is, their belief is, their understanding of the facts. Restate, reword, parrot back what they're saying. What I hear you saying is such and such. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So often arguments evolve from a misunderstanding of what a person is trying to say. Either they misstated it, you misheard it. It's very easy to do. There are two biblical principles involved when we are arguing, probably the most, or discussing differences of opinion. The most important is to speak the truth in love, which is from Ephesians 4:15. Ephesians chapter 4, verse 15. Speak the truth in love. What we tend to forget is that even though it's very important to speak the truth as we understand it, what is our motivation? I mean, just to have free license to say what is true is not always helpful. Just volunteer information about another person, their physical characteristics, their intellectual state, whatever, the facts that they support their opinions on. That's not necessarily helpful if we want to continue in a positive relationship with someone. What is our motivation? Speak the truth in love. In other words, is love our motivation? Are we trying to build a stronger relationship with that other person? Are we trying to change their mind about something? Are we trying to influence their opinion? do we have a positive motivation, or are we trying to just assert our power and control our ego upon them? The second principle is that Jesus says we are to not judge others. He says in Matthew chapter 7, verses 1 through 5, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." People, myself included, have often misinterpreted that verse, saying that misunderstanding that the word "judge" there is more of a legal term, judging under condemnation. Judging, in other words, saying a person is condemned to hell because they believe a certain thing or because they act a certain way. In other words, taking the role, putting ourselves in the place of God. So, judge not unto condemnation, lest we be judged unto condemnation. Matthew chapter 7, verse 1 through 5. So that does not say that we are not to be discerning. We are called to discernment. In other words, the difference between good and evil. We have to make those decisions, but not to judge someone harshly and take the role of that God is the only role that would be appropriate for God to make. And then finally, leave you with this thought. There's an old saying, sometimes it's better to keep silent and be thought a fool than to open one's mouth and remove all doubt. So sometimes it's better just to be a good listener, soak it all in, try to pray upon things, to hold back on a response. There's much in the Bible that talks about the power of the tongue. And once words come out of our mouths, once we state things, it's very difficult to take them back. So again, 2 ears, 1 mouth, listen twice as much as we talk. Well, God bless you, and have a good day.